Daniel was 29 years old and had been working at the radio station for 2 years. Coming from a neighboring town, he had grown up listening to late-night radio shows and had always been fascinated by the power of unknown voices that seemed to speak directly to him. Now, on the other side of the microphone, he was the voice that filled the late nights of many anonymous listeners. Daniel adjusted the microphone and cleared his throat lightly. Another night began at the small radio station where he hosted the late-night show. The format was simple but cozy. Soft music, light news, and of course calls from listeners. He enjoyed these conversations, even when they were just lonely people seeking company at night to talk. There was something special about those interactions, as if, for a few minutes, he could offer comfort to someone on the other side. Some stories were light and fun, others deep and touching. Sometimes listeners cried, confessing secrets they'd never shared with anyone. Daniel always tried to respond with empathy, even when words seemed insufficient. But that night, a different voice caught his attention. "Hello," he said, pressing the button to answer the call. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, a soft, somewhat hesitant female voice responded. "Hello, Daniel." He furrowed his brow. Normally, listeners introduced themselves first. But this woman spoke as if she already knew him. "Hi. Who am I speaking with? My name doesn't matter. I just wanted to talk for a bit. Is that okay?" There was something melancholic in her tone, but also a strange familiarity. Her voice gave him a strange feeling of déjà vu, as if he had heard it before. In another time, in another life. Intrigued, Daniel agreed. "Sure. What would you like to talk about?" She let out a light laugh, almost nostalgic. "About the things we leave behind." That sentence made Daniel lean back in his chair. There was something poetic about those words, as if they carried a deeper meaning. The conversation went on for a few minutes. She talked about longing, places she had not visited in years, a love lost to time. Daniel found himself involved, sharing small memories of his own life. He talked about his childhood, about the dreams he had when he was younger that, somehow, had been left behind. She seemed to understand. Each of her words carried a subtle weight, a sensitivity that made him want to hear more. Then suddenly the call dropped. He called for her a few times, but there was no answer. He checked the system, but there was no record of the call. It was as if that conversation had never happened. The next night she called again. And the next one too. Always at the same time, always with that soft, familiar voice. Daniel started to look forward to those calls. It was as if that mysterious listener had become part of the show, a quiet secret between the two of them. But whenever he asked who she was, the answer remained vague. Just a listener who likes to remember. With each conversation, Daniel felt like he knew her more, but at the same time, he knew so little. She talked about small things. A rainy day, a perfume that brought memories, an old song. It was as if her words painted pictures in his mind, images of a past he did not even know he had kept. Then, one night, Daniel decided to ask a different question. If you could go back in time, what would you change? On the other end of the line there was a long silence. For a moment, he thought the call had dropped again. But then her voice returned, soft and full of emotion. "I would say the words I never had the courage to say." That sentence stayed in Daniel's mind for days. But the next night she did not call. Nor the next. Not the following week either. The silence left seemed even louder than her voice. The show went on, other listeners called, but that voice never returned. Until one day, Daniel found an envelope on his desk at the station. No return address, just his name written on the front. Inside there was an old photograph. In it, a young Daniel smiled beside a girl. On the back of the photo, a single sentence. "Thank you for listening. It was always me." A chill ran down Daniel's spine. He remembered her. His first love. Someone he had left behind and never sought out again. Someone who, perhaps, had been waiting for him all this time. Suddenly everything made sense. He picked up the phone, dialed a number he still knew by heart, and waited. When the voice on the other end answered, he smiled. "Hi, it's me. Can we talk?" Sometimes life gives us a second chance. But it's up to us to have the courage to seize it. We never know when it will be the last time we see or hear someone special. So, don't wait for time to pass before saying what is in your heart. How many words have you left unsaid? How many reunions are still within your reach? If there is something hidden inside of you, maybe it is time to speak. Time is relentless, but true emotions never fade. If this story touched you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next story.